Hi, this is Eternal King here, bringing you another gaming video today. So similar to my Enter the Gungeon video, where we just do like a chill kind of chat about kind of life and how things are going. And in fact, I'm going to drop the main volume down super low because this is literally mostly just a gaming chat. But yeah, so today is in fact my birthday. So talking about specifically, how that makes me feel and what's going on in my life right now. About 2 days ago, my breakup with my ex was formalized, and you might be wondering, well, how can somebody do that to you about 2 days before your birthday? And my response to that is really straightforward, and that's not what I wouldn't say that I was surprised. Honestly, I've known a lot of people over the course of my life who I would describe as, exhibiting, narcissistic behavioral patterns. And there are a lot of ways that you can describe a borderline narcissist. Part of it is that they only tend to value their own emotional outputs. So it's always how I feel, what people did to me, what are people going to do for me, what have you done for me lately, etc. Right? So in a world where someone in your life is acting like a borderline narcissist, it's exceptionally easy to understand that they might act in a self-interested manner. This is just inherently true. So yeah, absolutely. There's really no big surprise there. And there are a couple things that can lend well to developing narcissistic behavioral patterns. For example, there are some people in my life, specifically my family, that grew up exceptionally wealthy. And if you grow up wealthy, it's more likely that you will develop narcissistic behavioral patterns. I tend to listen to a lot of like Zen masters, and I tend to also listen to, Alan Watts. I tend to listen a lot to schools of thought that perceive life beyond the veil of what is immediately important to you when it comes to, again, things like, how attractive is the person that I'm dating? How much money am I making right now? How many followers do I have on social media? These things, how nice is my car? How fast does it go? How big is my cottage that I go, vacationing in the summer? All of these things that, narcissistic individuals tend to value. Oh, what did I fly coach or did I fly first class? All of these things that narcissistic people tend to value are incredibly toxic to the mind, in my opinion. I think that they have a real negative energy to them. And it's hard for me to engage with people who think along those lines. It doesn't matter if they're my family, if they're my best friend, if they're someone I'm dating. I find it very hard to deal with people like that because we're simply on different wavelengths. They are basing the value of their life entirely on extrinsic factors. And I'm basing the value of my life on intrinsic ones. If I have a nice condo in the future, which I do plan on purchasing, and if I fill that condo with, IKEA furniture that I think looks nice, and if I paint the walls a nice color, and I do all of these things that I view as, in terms of extrinsic value, I would view as important. Let's say I get all that lined up in like 6 months, which, very well might be the case. I get all of these factors lined up that are extrinsically valuable. At that point, I should be happy, right? All of a sudden, life says, the manual that depicts how, you're supposed to feel based on these extrinsic values that, you call it the social contract, you call it whatever you want. That manual will say, now you're happy. Therefore, the manual also must state that until I have those things, I have to be fucking miserable. That is how the Western contract works. That, just because there are things that happen in my life that are negative, for example, I could say that the formalizing of the breakup 2 days before my birthday, I could say that that's a negative extrinsic value placement, right? Like that's a bad thing that happened to me. Therefore, I need to feel awful about it. I don't subscribe to that mentality. I think that if you accept the reality that everybody in your life is inherently self-interested and therefore is going to act in a manner of self-interest, I think that if you accept that and move past it and just, like a Zen master would, just all there is the void, all there is nothingness. Therefore, anything that people do to you cannot phase you, right? I guess you can call it modern stoicism. Anything that people do to you cannot phase you as long as it is not inherently harming your current quality of life. Obviously, if someone stabs you, that's bad because you now need to get stitches. But everything else just passes over you. It does not matter. It is transient. That is my philosophy on life. That I am not a sum up of parts or occurrences that are currently happening in my life. I will actively work towards self-improvement and making my life better while not worrying about the things I cannot control and just letting them pass by me. And I think they call that letting go, right? And that is essentially what I'm striving for. I don't want to be like my family where they have everything but are still miserable. I don't want to be like my ex where I'm running around bad-mouthing people constantly just for the sake of my own narrative and my own sense of self and well-being. I just want to be me. And I want to be comfortable in the skin that is me and be satisfied with me in a way that, extrinsic values do not matter beyond the basic necessities. Obviously, you need to eat. You need to be able to afford a place. You need to make probably around $60,000 in Canada to have a sustainable lifestyle. But beyond that, it makes me wonder if, we place way too much value on things that are out of our control. Because again, if you do that, you will always be miserable. You have money, but then the money's gone later in life. Now you must be sad. Society has dictated that you must be sad now, and you can never be happy again because you had money and then you lost it. That's a terrible way to live your life. That is a fucking terrible way to live your life. Because if you are always sad about things that you cannot control, like you had a fortune and then it's gone, you will never be happy again. And why would you do that to yourself? That is tantamount to self-harm. You are literally deliberately trying to harm yourself by thinking that way. So again, this has been like a pretty chill, birthday chat. Don't worry, there were plenty of people who did reach out to me and give me well wishes and were generally kind and nice. But the narcissists in my life were not among them, simply put. And you know what? That's okay. This is Eternal King, signing out.